Welcome back, guys. So as I'm filming this, Sting very recently had his last match. I don't know when this is coming out, probably a couple of weeks after that, but I just thought, and it was also a suggestion, what about we look at the 10 dream Sting last match opponents. Now, the only thing that we need to take into account here, it must actually be possible. So I'm not going to pick anybody that's unfortunately passed on or something like that. It must be possible, not necessarily probable, but it must at least be within the realms of possibility, if that makes any sense. Number 10 is Goldberg. Now, those of you that know me know I'm not the biggest Goldberg fan. However, they do have quite a bit of history going back to WCW, and I do think a match between Goldberg and Sting for Sting's final match would have brought out that whole nostalgia pop from the hardcore old school audience. Number 9 is versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. Now, MJF is currently one of the biggest stars in AEW, so a match with MJF would have given Sting the platform to really showcase his last match, because it would have been one of, if not the showcase match at the pay-per-view. Number 8 is versus Malachi Black. Now, on the AEW roster, there's not a lot of darker, kind of mysterious characters, but Malachi Black definitely fits that mold, and I think him versus Crow Sting could have been a very interesting matchup to see the mind games being played and the dark kind of characters coming to the forefront. Number 7 is Bryan Danielson. Now, I know Bryan Danielson would have loved to have a match with Sting, and I do think that Bryan Danielson would have been able to get a fantastic match out of Sting. Now, Sting, of course, still being able to bump and being able to work at the AGs, which is absolutely phenomenal, but I do think Bryan Danielson would have just elevated him to that next level, and it would have been possibly even a 5-star match. Number 6 is with Edge, tagging with Edge versus the Hardy Boys. The only reason why I've got him tagging with Edge and not with Darby Allin is simply because Edge has that built-in history with the Hardy Boys, and I think the 4 of them, the 4 veterans, would have put on a good show. It maybe wouldn't have been a 5-star match, but I still think it would have been a good enough show to warrant as Sting's last match. Number 5, tagging with Darby Allin versus Edge and Christian. Now, if they built this correctly, there would have been enough time for Edge and Christian to get on the same page, and this would have been an absolute dream tag match. We've got ENC working as Adam Copeland and the father of everybody versus Sting and Darby Allin. This would have been an absolute barn burner of a match. Number 4 versus John Cena. Now, I know Sting had his short run in WWE, and he also helped John Cena with the Team Cena versus the Authority thing at Survivor Series. So I do think there is a little bit of built-in history, and I just think it would have been a match built on respect more than a it would have been a match built on respect more than a match built on any kind of rivalry. Just would have been John Cena trying to just respect Sting by being the one to take him out. Number 3, just a one-on-one match with Darby Allin. Obviously, Sting has been in Darby Allin's corner throughout his entire AEW run, but I do think a one-on-one match with Darby Allin, also maybe like my previous entry with John Cena, nobody had to turn or anything, just maybe a match built on mutual respect, built on mutual trust, built on mutual just friendship, and just the person to be Sting's last match. Number 2, tagging with Darby Allin versus the Brothers of Destruction. Now, I know Kane and Undertaker have both long since retired, but I do think if you called up Taker and you called up Kane and said, we've got a proposition for you, this is what we've got, we're going to make it some kind of cinematic match, you don't have to take any bumps, I do think the 2 of them would have been very up for a match with Sting and Darby Allin. And number 1, I'm sure this is on most people's number 1, versus The Undertaker. This should have happened in the early 2000s. Then there was an opportunity for it to happen in 2015, but it wouldn't have been as good as it could have been. Now we would have had another opportunity. One caveat, it would have had to be in some kind of cinematic match, because Undertaker is not taking any bumps. Sting, he can still take bumps, but I don't think he wants to take a last ride. I don't think he wants to take a tombstone. I don't think he wants to take any of those moves. I just think cinematic match, Undertaker versus Sting. What better way is there for Sting's final retirement match? What's your top 10 possible dream matches for Sting's retirement? Let me know in the comment section, and until next time, hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.